Well, there's a bunch of Catholic healthcare systems. A lot of healthcare systems have health insurance divisions. Like, why hasn't this been done before? Why will Presidio be the first? Like, it doesn't make sense. So if no one else has done it, people with a lot more money and a lot more, interest in this space, why is it something we can just go do? So tell us a little bit about that, Bob, from a
I think,
legal perspective.
I think there's two parts to the question. One is like, why does this have to be done? Right. And that
Sure.
sort of builds on what Daniel just talked about, which is, why, yes, we need to reclaim healthcare for Christ, but why do we need to do that in the first place? Why isn't that already part of what healthcare is? And then the second part is why hasn't somebody already done this? And I think the answers are kind of intertwined. So, and there is an important historical and legal backdrop to what we're doing that kind of tees this moment up perfectly for the launch of the nation's first pro-life health insurance company. And that's largely defined by the Affordable Care Act, which is also known as Obamacare. It's the same thing. Obamacare is largely defining the healthcare industry in the United States today. And if you look at what that is, there were two super contentious and highly litigated prongs of the Affordable Care Act. One was the individual mandate, which required everybody in America to have insurance. And two is what's called the contraceptive mandate, which requires every plan offered to offer the full range of preventive services, including the full range of contraceptive services offered by HHS. So a lot of the listeners here might remember the Hobby Lobby case, which is when the Green family, a very Christian family, along with a few others, including Conestoga Woods, sued the administration and said, we're Christian. We don't want to be paying for other people's contraceptive services. And if you take a step back and look at what the contraceptive mandate means in reality, if your plan is guaranteed payment, is required to pay for contraceptive services, how does the plan actually pay for it? Well, it's through the members' premium dollars. So the plan is collecting premium dollars from its members. A lot of them are Christian, and a lot of those members are going to be fundamentally opposed to the use of contraceptive services. And they're using those people's dollars to come into a pool and then pay out benefits, including other members' contraceptive services. So you can understand why, regardless of where you are on pro-life or pro-choice issues, it seems un-American and anti-religion to require people to pay for and participate in services that fundamentally violate their religious beliefs. So the Green family, Hobby Lobby, they sued the administrator, that was the Obama administration, and they won a big Supreme Court victory, which was huge for Christians in particular and religious liberties more generally, that accepted faith-based employers from having to offer coverage that complied with the contraceptive mandate. So that was a big win, but unfortunately it remained largely unavailable to the vast majority of Americans. A lot of Americans are purchasing their insurance privately. They don't have employer-sponsored coverage. And a lot of them they might even work for Christian companies that don't have the scale and clout that the Hobby Lobbies of the world have to go to the Blue Shields of America and say, hey, please write a special plan for my small group of 30 employees, right? Good luck getting Blue Shield, United, Aetna to draft a special plan like that. So it really primed Americans, I think, and set us up to offer the nation's first pro-life health insurance company, because there's currently nothing available. There are a couple of other key steps that have set the stage too. Number one is that Hobby Lobby case continued to be litigated, continued to be a hot button issue because it wasn't largely available to the vast majority of Americans. So it kept going back up to the Supreme Court. And I think it was in 2016, the two parties were arguing in front of the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court justices literally said, can't you guys figure this out? Like, this seems like a big deal on both sides. Can't you figure something out? And they said, yes, we can. Well, several months went by and they didn't figure anything out. Donald Trump came into office, and in 2016, he issued an executive order. He kind of took a look at the Supreme Court precedents, and he said, let's figure this out. And he ordered, he issued an executive order that resulted in a rule that extended the Hobby Lobby victory to not only religious employers, but religious insurers as well. That was in 2016. To date, we're recording this podcast in 2025. Nobody's taken advantage of that. We actually talked to the woman who wrote the rule, She said, this is exactly why we wrote the rule. Nobody's taken advantage of this yet. Now, this goes to your second question, Cameron, which is why has nobody taken advantage of it? And I mean, look around at the healthcare landscape. We live in a healthcare environment that promotes things like abortion as healthcare, right? It's sort of taken as a given among industry experts. And there are a lot of great folks in the industry. There are a lot of great Christians in the industry, but unfortunately, they're not the outspoken majority. And you can see why in a environment, in an industry that pressures everybody to think one way, it's really counterintuitive or against the grain to promote things that actually build the culture of life that are aligned with Christian values. And you could see why a lot of the big insurance companies, they don't want to touch Christian stuff with a 10-foot pole, because they'll be labeled as whatever, bigots, right? So you can imagine that I think that's a lot of the reason why we haven't seen somebody do this to date. You need somebody that comes in with strong values and is convicted of these issues to say, we're going to build a plan specifically for this because we believe this is the way healthcare is supposed to be delivered.
Mm-hmm.
And this is best for the patient and it's best for the providers too, because you have a lot of providers in this industry that want to practice in a way that aligns with their Christian faith, but they're pressured from these insurance companies to provide services that don't align with their Christian faith and values.
It's also hard, Bob.
It's also hard. So we do have a unique team of experts that has come together to say, we got the healthcare lawyer, we got the healthcare actuary, we've got a guy that's actually managed costs for huge blocks. We've got a guy that's actually been in the weeds building a company before and selling insurance products. So yeah, that's a small piece of it too.